Let's talk chickens. I built this chicken coop last summer and have been loving my chickens, but I do not like having to come out first thing every morning and every evening to coop and uncoop them. If you don't know, chickens will go inside their chicken coop every evening on their own around dusk. But I still have to be here or come out here to shut the door and keep them safe. So this week I finally tackled building my own automatic chicken coop door. It's on a photocell, so when this device here senses light, it will open the door and let the girls go out to range. Then, when it no longer senses light, it will shut. I was worried about cloudy days, but so far there hasn't been any issues with it. Let me show you how I made it. And if you're interested, I have a set of plans available that has a full material list and also a wiring diagram. I'll leave you a link to them as well as the plans to the chicken coop down below. Okay, I started by making the door. For this, I'm using some scraps from my shop, and I just gave them a few good coats of paint. All of the components for this build will be hidden under the coop itself and then also under the nesting box. So I'm not overly worried about using untreated wood here. The door itself is very simple. It just starts as a simple box. Next, a door is added with 2 hinges. The linear actuator is one of the main components that makes this whole thing work. You can go cheap on these guys, but if you're shooting for quality and something that will last, and I recommend going with this brand called Progressive Automations. They have a huge variety of not only linear actuators, but also other electronic items. Also, it's worth noting that they have great customer service that are happy to help pick out the item needed for the certain job you have in mind. I added in a few more painted scraps to the top to create a cubby for the actuator to go in. The actuator will extend out and contract in, which is what controls what opens and closes the door. To attach the 2 components, I used an L bracket. I screwed it to the top of the door first, then positioned the actuator. For attaching it correctly, the actuator needs to be fully extended. I'm using a transformer temporarily to give it power. And this is such low voltage that you don't have to worry about getting shocked. If you hear clicking but don't see any action, then just reverse the connections and you should see it work. Perfect. Okay, with that done, I clamp the door firmly shut as that's the position I want to establish when the actuator is fully extended. So this gap, it's really important that you move this actuator all the way forward and apply pressure this way on this bracket assembly so that this door is held shut completely. You can see that whenever I release it, there's this little bit of slack. So to prevent that, just move it all the way forward before drilling this down. Okay, let's test it out and make sure it's working as it should. Yeah. So when it's installed on the chicken coop, I will be using a solar panel and battery to power the operations. But first, I wanted to wire everything together on my workbench to make sure it worked before going through the actual install. Okay, so now the next components, now that we have the opening and closing device, to make it work automatically is we need a relay which reverses polarity and will extend and contract the linear actuator. And then the signal to do that contracting and whatnot, opening and closing, is the photocell so that it will open whenever the sun comes out and then close whenever the sun goes away. Okay, let's do another test. So the photocell will pick up sun, open up the door, goes to the relay whenever night comes, and it reverses the polarity, extends the linear actuator, closing the door. Then whenever the sun comes out in the morning, it's going to retract the linear actuator, opening the door. There. That is exactly how it should work, which is very exciting. With the concept proven and the how-to figured out, next was to install it on the chicken coop. I'm placing all of my important pieces under the chicken coop to keep it out of the rain, which includes the linear actuator, the battery, and the relay. Oh, and I also added in a fuse between the battery and the actuator. To add the door, I cut into my chicken coop wire. I added in 2 studs, then slipped the door right into place, securing it with just a few screws. For the photocell to work, it's placed higher up on the coop and also facing west to catch the evening light. The chickens start going home around nightfall and the door stays open until a little bit past that. I I really hope that you've enjoyed watching this project come together, and if you have Coop, then I hope that you're inspired to make your own automatic door. I've left you links to all the products I've used down in the description, as well as the plans I have for this project and my other chicken related projects, including this chicken coop. Blossom, come here, baby girl. This is my baby girl. She loves to be held. All right, I will see you on my next project. You want to go to your home? Here, baby. I'll help you. No, you have to use your... There you go. Go on. Oh, there. Ta-da! If you have been wanting to make a rocking chair, then I have templates for this design right here. Or if you go to my website, I have templates for tons of other projects as well.